Welcome to the Hidden Wealth Coins. Imagine discovering that an ordinary 1-cent coin in your pocket carries the power to rewrite your entire life overnight. These forgotten wheat pennies are not just old metal, they are silent vaults of history, rarity, and explosive value. Hidden flaws, perfect condition, and untold stories have turned simple pennies into million-dollar legends that collectors hunt relentlessly. One glance could separate poverty from unimaginable wealth, forever changing destiny without warning today. First up, the wheat penny is not just a small copper coin, it is a silent witness to American history, ambition, war, and forgotten dreams. When people hear 1951 wheat penny, most imagine an ordinary 1-cent coin that passed through countless hands without notice. But history is rarely that simple. Coins are born in massive numbers, yet destiny chooses only a few to rise beyond metal and face value. The 1951 wheat penny belongs to a generation minted in a time when America was rebuilding its identity after war, when industries were booming and families were saving every cent with hope for a better tomorrow. These coins were never meant to become treasures, yet today they whisper stories that can shake the foundations of fortune itself. Some collectors believe that hidden among these pennies are examples so rare, so perfectly preserved or mysteriously flawed, that they cross the line between money and legend. To understand why the 1951 wheat penny holds such fascination, you must step back into the era that created it. The United States was standing at the edge of modern power, balancing tradition and innovation. The wheat penny design itself symbolized prosperity, harvest, and national strength, with wheat stalks representing abundance and survival. Millions were minted, yes, but not all coins are born equal. Some left the mint with microscopic differences, some were struck with unusual force, and some escaped circulation untouched by time. These are the coins that collectors chase, not because they are common, but because they are survivors. A penny that remains flawless after decades is not ordinary. It is a miracle of preservation, and miracles are what drive value into unbelievable territory. The idea that a single penny could be worth millions sounds impossible to most people, and that disbelief is exactly why life-changing coins are often ignored. Value in the numismatic world is not created by face value, but by rarity, condition, and story. A 1951 wheat penny in worn condition may only tell a humble tale, but one preserved in absolute mint condition, with razor-sharp details and original luster, becomes a different creature altogether. Add a rare minting anomaly or a striking irregularity, and suddenly the coin is no longer just copper. It becomes a one-of-a-kind artifact, something that collectors and investors compete fiercely to own, because ownership means holding history that can never be recreated. There is also a powerful psychological force behind coins like the 1951 wheat penny. Collectors are not only buying metal, they are buying time. A perfect penny from 1951 is proof that something fragile can survive untouched while the world changes around it. That emotional weight pushes prices higher than logic alone would allow. When collectors see a coin that looks as if it was struck yesterday, despite being older than generations, desire replaces reason. Auctions become battles, not transactions. Each bid is fueled by the fear of missing out on something that may never appear again. This is how small coins quietly climb into extraordinary value ranges. Many people believe fortune only comes from obvious places like businesses, property, or inheritance, but history shows that hidden wealth often sleeps in plain sight. Pennies were saved in jars, drawers, and old boxes without care, especially during times when money itself felt more permanent than value. Some 1951 wheat pennies spent decades untouched, never circulated, never scratched, never cleaned. These coins waited silently while their siblings were worn down by time. When rediscovered today, they can shock even experienced collectors, because perfection after so many years is almost unheard of. Perfection is rare, and rarity is the fuel of unimaginable prices. There is also mystery surrounding certain 1951 wheat pennies that fuels endless speculation. Coins struck slightly off-center, coins with doubled impressions, coins with metal flow anomalies or unusual textures are not mistakes in the eyes of collectors, they are fingerprints of history. Each anomaly proves that something unexpected happened at the exact moment that coin was born. That moment can never be repeated. When such a coin exists in pristine condition, untouched and original, it enters a realm where price becomes a suggestion rather than a limit. This is where stories of six-figure and even seven-figure coins begin, not as guarantees, but as possibilities driven by extreme rarity. The danger for ordinary people is ignorance. Many valuable wheat pennies were lost forever because they were cleaned, polished, or spent casually. Cleaning a coin may make it look shiny to the untrained eye, but it destroys originality, which is the soul of value. A 1951 wheat penny that has never been cleaned, never altered, and never damaged carries its age with dignity, and collectors respect that. Original surfaces tell the truth of time, and truth is priceless in numismatics. This is why experts always warn: never rush, never spend, and never underestimate a coin simply because it is small. What truly captivates people is the idea that fortune can change overnight. Imagine discovering that something you ignored for years is suddenly worth more than houses, businesses, or savings accounts. That emotional shock is real, and it has happened before in the coin world. While not every 1951 wheat penny holds such power, a tiny fraction absolutely can. Those few exist at the intersection of rarity, condition, and historical timing. They are the reason collectors never stop searching and why old coin collections are examined again and again with new eyes as markets evolve. Coin history teaches us that value is not fixed, it grows as understanding grows. Decades ago, few people imagined that pennies could command extraordinary prices. Today, the global collector community is larger, wealthier, and more competitive than ever. Demand grows, but supply does not. No new 1951 wheat pennies can ever be made. Every year, more are damaged, lost, or destroyed. Scarcity increases silently, pushing exceptional examples further into legend. This slow tightening of supply is what turns rare coins into financial powerhouses over time. The Wheat Penny series itself carries emotional weight because it marked the end of an era. When the design changed, something nostalgic was lost, and nostalgia is a powerful driver of value. The 1951 issue sits close to that emotional boundary, making it especially appealing to collectors who see it as part of a fading American story. Coins that sit near historical transitions often gain value not immediately, but explosively, once the world fully realizes what they represent. Owning a potentially valuable 1951 wheat penny is not about greed, it is about responsibility. These coins are not meant to be rushed into sales or treated casually. True value reveals itself only when patience meets knowledge. Many people who sold rare coins too early later realized they traded generational wealth for short-term comfort. History remembers the patient, not the impulsive. Coins reward those who respect time, because time is what gives them power. The idea that a single cent can change a life sounds dramatic, but drama is built into the very fabric of coin collecting. It is a world where the smallest object can hold the greatest surprise. A 1951 wheat penny does not promise fortune, but it offers possibility, and possibility is the most powerful force in the human imagination. Every collector knows that the next discovery could be the one that rewrites everything. Second up, the 1953 wheat penny looks innocent at first glance, like a coin that lived a quiet life in pockets, jars, and forgotten drawers. Yet history often hides its greatest secrets inside the most ordinary objects. This 1-cent coin was born in a time when America was quietly reshaping itself, when the echoes of war had faded but its lessons remained carved into the nation's mindset. Every wheat penny from this era carries the weight of survival, discipline, and rebuilding. Most people never stop to think that a coin struck during such a transitional period could one day command unimaginable value. But rarity does not announce itself loudly, it waits patiently for the world to catch up. The wheat penny design itself speaks without words. The wheat stalks are not decoration, they are symbols of endurance, food, and economic stability. When the 1953 wheat penny was created, the country valued thrift, saving, and long-term thinking. Pennies mattered then. They were not tossed aside without thought. That mindset led many people to store coins carefully, sometimes unknowingly preserving future treasures. Among the millions produced, only a microscopic fraction survived in a state so perfect that time seems to have ignored them completely. These coins are the ones that collectors whisper about, the ones that transform curiosity into obsession. What separates an ordinary 1953 wheat penny from a life-changing one is not age alone, but condition and character. A penny that still holds sharp details, untouched surfaces, and original texture becomes something almost sacred in the collector world. Such coins are not just rare, they are unnatural survivors. Decades pass, hands change, economies rise and fall, yet the coin remains frozen in its birth moment. That kind of preservation defies probability, and defying probability is what pushes value into shocking territory. Then there is the element of imperfection, which paradoxically creates perfection in value. Some 1953 wheat pennies were born different, shaped by brief, unrepeatable moments inside the minting process. A slight doubling, an unusual strike pressure, a misalignment so subtle that only trained eyes catch it, these details turn a common penny into a singular artifact. Collectors are not chasing errors, they are chasing moments where history stuttered for a split second. When such a coin appears in near-flawless condition, the market reacts emotionally, not logically. The numismatic world runs on desire as much as knowledge. When collectors see a rare 1953 wheat penny, especially one preserved beyond expectation, something deeper than money awakens. Ownership becomes symbolic. To own such a coin is to hold a piece of American time that cannot be replicated. No factory, no technology, no amount of money can recreate a genuine artifact from 1953 with untouched authenticity. This realization fuels bidding wars, private deals, and whispered offers that never reach public ears. Many people struggle to believe that a single penny could be worth more than years of labor. That disbelief is exactly why valuable coins remain hidden for so long. History is filled with stories of fortunes discovered late, simply because no one looked closely enough. The 1953 wheat penny benefits from this ignorance. It slips under the radar, overlooked because it does not scream importance. Yet silence is often where the greatest power hides. The coin does not need to announce its worth, it waits for the right moment and the right eyes. One of the most tragic mistakes people make is treating old coins like modern change. Cleaning, polishing, or altering a wheat penny destroys the very thing that gives it power: originality. A 1953 wheat penny that carries its age honestly, without artificial shine, commands respect. Collectors can read a coin's life through its surface, and originality tells a truthful story. A truthful coin is trusted, and trust is the currency of high value in the collector world. The idea of overnight fortune is not fantasy, it is rare reality. Coins have changed lives before, not because everyone gets lucky, but because someone paid attention. A forgotten box, an inherited jar, a drawer untouched for decades can contain something extraordinary. The 1953 wheat penny sits perfectly in this category. It is old enough to be historic, common enough to be ignored, yet rare enough in top condition to explode in value when discovered at the right moment. Coin value also grows with time because supply only moves in one direction. Coins are lost, damaged, melted, or destroyed every year. No new 1953 wheat pennies will ever be made. This silent shrinking of supply tightens the market slowly but relentlessly. As fewer pristine examples remain, demand becomes more aggressive. Collectors do not just want the coin, they fear never seeing another like it again. Fear, when mixed with desire, has no price ceiling. The Wheat Penny series holds emotional gravity because it represents an America that no longer exists. A time when coins were heavy with meaning, when saving was a virtue, and when even a cent had purpose. The 1953 issue carries that emotional echo, appealing to collectors who are not just buying metal but memory. Emotional value often grows faster than financial logic, and markets eventually follow emotion. There is a lesson hidden inside the 1953 wheat penny, and it is not about money alone. It is about patience, awareness, and respect for history. Those who rush to sell often lose what patience would have multiplied. Those who underestimate often learn too late. Coins reward the calm observer, the one who understands that true value reveals itself slowly, sometimes decades after creation. A penny cannot promise riches, but it can offer possibility. Possibility is powerful because it keeps curiosity alive. The 1953 wheat penny exists in that space between ordinary and extraordinary. Most will remain simple keepsakes, but a rare few carry the power to rewrite a person's future. That possibility is why collectors never stop searching and why stories like these continue to captivate millions. In the end, the 1953 wheat penny teaches a quiet truth: fortune does not always arrive loudly. Sometimes it waits silently, disguised as something small, underestimated, and overlooked. Whether hidden in a collection or resting unnoticed in a drawer, its power lies in what it represents, a reminder that history, when respected, can reward in ways no one expects, sometimes even overnight. Third up, the 1955 wheat penny is not just a coin, It is a moment frozen in copper, a quiet witness to a turning point in American history that most people walk past without ever noticing. Born in an era when the United States was stepping confidently into a new age of industry and global influence, this penny carries the energy of ambition, speed, and transformation. On the surface, it looks like just another cent, something people once spent without a second thought. Yet time has a strange way of changing the meaning of objects. What was once common can become legendary, and what was ignored can become priceless. The 1955 wheat penny sits exactly at that crossroads between ordinary and extraordinary. By the mid-1950s, America was moving fast. Machines were faster, factories louder, and life itself felt like it was accelerating. Coins were produced in massive numbers to keep up with demand, but speed often leaves behind subtle imperfections, and history remembers those imperfections better than perfection. The wheat penny design, already rich with symbolism, took on new meaning in this fast-moving world. The wheat stalks represented stability in a time of rapid change, grounding the nation in values of work and growth. Coins struck during such periods often carry hidden stories, and the 1955 wheat penny is one of the most mysterious storytellers of them all. What makes certain 1955 wheat pennies so powerful is not just how they were made, but how they survived. Time is ruthless to small objects. Most pennies are scratched, dulled, and worn beyond recognition. Yet a rare few escape this fate entirely. When a coin from 1955 appears today with sharp details, untouched surfaces, and an almost unreal freshness, it feels like an accident of fate. Collectors understand this immediately. They are not looking at a cent, they are looking at defiance against time itself, and defiance has value far beyond logic. Then there is the role of unusual creation, moments when the minting process briefly slipped out of rhythm. These moments created coins that were never meant to exist in that exact form. A doubled impression, an unexpected alignment, or a visual strength that feels heavier than normal turns a simple penny into a historical anomaly. The 1955 wheat penny is especially famous among collectors for these whispered anomalies, coins that seem to tell two stories at once. When such a coin survives in exceptional condition, its value stops behaving like money and starts behaving like legend. The idea that a 1-cent coin could be worth millions feels impossible to most people, but the coin market does not operate on common sense alone. It operates on desire, fear, and scarcity. When collectors learn that only a tiny number of extraordinary 1955 wheat pennies exist in top condition, competition becomes emotional. The price is no longer about copper, it is about ownership. Owning such a coin means holding something that others may search for their entire lives and never find. That sense of exclusivity is what pushes values into unbelievable territory. Many of these coins were saved accidentally. Someone placed them in a drawer, a book, or a jar and forgot about them. Decades passed. Families moved. Generations changed. The coin waited. This waiting is what transforms an object into a treasure. A 1955 wheat penny that never entered heavy circulation avoided the damage that erased value from millions of others. When rediscovered today, it feels like opening a message sent from the past directly into the present, and collectors are willing to pay astonishing sums to receive that message. One of the greatest dangers to such coins has always been misunderstanding. People often try to make old coins look new by cleaning them, not realizing they are erasing history. A cleaned coin loses its voice. A natural coin speaks clearly. The untouched surface of a 1955 wheat penny tells experts everything they need to know about its journey through time. Originality is sacred in the numismatic world, and sacred objects are treated with reverence and rewarded with value. The promise of overnight fortune is not guaranteed, but it is not imaginary either. Throughout history, small discoveries have rewritten lives. Coins have funded retirements, transformed families, and secured futures, not because everyone gets lucky, but because someone recognized value before others did. The 1955 wheat penny belongs to this category of quiet opportunity. It does not shout wealth, it whispers it. Only those who listen closely understand what it is saying. As years pass, the supply of exceptional 1955 wheat pennies only shrinks. Coins are lost, damaged, or destroyed, and each loss strengthens the remaining survivors. Demand, however, moves in the opposite direction. More collectors enter the market every year, armed with knowledge and resources. When rising demand meets vanishing supply, value does not climb politely, it leaps. This is how coins once ignored become objects of intense pursuit. The emotional pull of the Wheat Penny series cannot be overstated. These coins represent a chapter of America that feels distant yet familiar. A time when money had weight, patience had value, and small savings mattered. The 1955 issue captures that feeling perfectly, sitting at the edge of change, where tradition and modernity briefly overlapped. Emotional attachment often fuels prices more powerfully than metal content or age alone. There is wisdom hidden inside the story of the 1955 Wheat Penny. It teaches restraint. Those who rush often regret it. Those who wait often win. Coins do not reveal their full value on demand. They reveal it when the world is ready. Many people who sold rare coins too early later realized they exchanged legacy for convenience. History favors the patient observer, not the impulsive spender. A penny cannot promise a billionaire's life, but it can open the door to possibility, and possibility is where every great fortune begins. The 1955 Wheat Penny stands as a reminder that value is not always obvious, and wealth does not always arrive dressed in gold. Sometimes it hides in copper, disguised as something ordinary, waiting for the right moment to reveal its true power. In the end, the true magic of the 1955 Wheat Penny is not just its potential price, but its lesson. It reminds us that history rewards attention, patience, and respect. Somewhere, perhaps even now, a small coin rests quietly, holding the power to change a future overnight, not through luck alone, but through understanding what others failed to see. Fourth up. The 1948 Wheat Penny was born into a world still catching its breath after chaos. The war was over, but its shadow stretched long across everyday life. This small copper coin entered circulation at a time when hope was fragile and the future felt uncertain, yet full of promise. People worked hard, saved carefully, and believed that even the smallest effort mattered. A single cent carried weight then, not just monetary weight, but symbolic weight. That belief is pressed into every 1948 Wheat Penny, making it far more than a piece of metal. It is a survivor from an age when rebuilding a nation required patience, discipline, and faith in tomorrow. The Wheat Penny design was never meant to impress with luxury. It was meant to remind. The wheat stalks speak of food, survival, and growth after hardship. In 1948, those symbols were not abstract ideas, they were lived realities. Families remembered rationing, scarcity, and sacrifice. Coins from this period absorbed that emotional energy, and collectors feel it even today. When you hold a 1948 Wheat Penny, you are holding a fragment of a nation teaching itself how to stand again. That historical gravity is one of the reasons certain examples rise far beyond ordinary value. Millions of these pennies were produced, but history does not reward quantity, it rewards exception. Most were worn down by daily use, passed hand to hand until their details faded. But a rare few escaped that fate. Some were set aside intentionally, others forgotten accidentally. Time passed, decades stacked quietly, and these coins remained untouched. When a 1948 Wheat Penny appears today with sharp edges, full detail, and original surface, it feels unnatural, as if time hesitated around it. Collectors recognize this immediately, and recognition is where value begins to transform. Condition is the silent judge in the coin world. Two pennies can share the same year, the same design, and the same origin, yet live in completely different universes of value. A 1948 Wheat Penny preserved in near-perfect state becomes something almost mythical. It tells a story of avoidance, avoiding damage, avoiding cleaning, avoiding careless hands. That avoidance is rare. When rarity meets history, price loses its limits. This is how an ordinary cent steps into conversations about unimaginable worth. There is also the mystery of how some coins were created. In times of intense production, subtle differences are inevitable. Pressure, alignment, and timing sometimes drift for a brief moment, creating coins that are visually distinct, even if only slightly. These differences are not flaws in the eyes of collectors, they are signatures of a unique moment. A 1948 Wheat Penny born during such a moment becomes a singular object, impossible to replicate. When such a coin survives in exceptional condition, it becomes a magnet for serious collectors who understand that uniqueness cannot be manufactured. The idea that a penny could be worth millions feels unreal because people associate wealth with size and shine. But history repeatedly proves that importance does not depend on appearance. The coin market is driven by scarcity, emotion, and competition. When collectors realize that only a handful of top-tier 1948 wheat pennies remain, desire intensifies. Auctions become psychological battles. Offers are driven by fear of missing something that may never surface again. This is how values climb beyond logic and into legend. Many life-changing coins were never discovered through effort, but through chance. A box inherited, a drawer opened, a jar examined out of curiosity. The 1948 wheat penny often lives in these forgotten spaces. People saved coins during hard times without knowing why, only that saving felt right. That instinct unknowingly preserved future treasures. When such a coin is rediscovered today, it feels like a message sent from the past, arriving at exactly the right moment. One of the most destructive mistakes people make is trying to improve history. Cleaning a coin removes not just dirt, but truth. A cleaned 1948 wheat penny loses its authenticity, and authenticity is the foundation of trust. Collectors do not want perfection created by human hands. They want honesty created by time. A coin that shows natural aging without interference commands respect. Respect is what turns interest into high value. The dream of overnight fortune is powerful because it is rare, not because it is false. Coins have changed lives before, not through magic, but through timing and awareness. The 1948 wheat penny sits in a perfect position within coin history to create such moments. It is old enough to be historic, common enough to be ignored, and rare enough in exceptional condition to shock the market. That balance is dangerous in the best way possible. As time moves forward, the number of extraordinary 1948 wheat pennies only decreases. Every year, coins are lost, damaged, or destroyed. Supply quietly shrinks while global interest grows. New collectors enter the field, armed with resources and knowledge. When increasing demand meets disappearing supply, prices do not rise gently. They surge. This is how once overlooked objects become financial powerhouses. The emotional pull of post-war coins is deep. They represent resilience, recovery, and belief in progress. The 1948 wheat penny carries that emotion more strongly than many realize. It connects people to a moment when rebuilding meant everything. Emotional connection fuels value in ways charts and numbers never can. Collectors pay for feeling as much as for rarity. There is a lesson embedded in the story of the 1948 wheat penny, and it is not just about money. It is about patience and respect. Those who rush often lose what patience would have multiplied. Those who underestimate often regret it. Coins reward those who understand that time is not an enemy, but an ally. A penny cannot guarantee wealth, but it can carry possibility, and possibility is where every fortune begins. The 1948 wheat penny stands quietly in that space, underestimated by many, understood by few. Its power does not come from promise, but from potential, and potential has rewritten lives before. In the end, the true power of the 1948 wheat penny is not only in its possible price, but in its reminder. History hides value in unexpected places. Sometimes, the smallest object holds the greatest surprise, waiting patiently for the moment when someone finally understands what it has been carrying all along. Fifth up. The 1945 wheat penny was born at a moment when the world exhaled after holding its breath for years. War had finally ended, but its echo lived in every household, every factory, every pocket. This small copper coin entered circulation when people were rebuilding not just cities, but hope itself. Money carried meaning then. A single cent was not dismissed, it was respected. That respect is embedded in every 1945 wheat penny, making it more than currency. It is a relic from the exact moment humanity stepped out of destruction and into possibility, and history has a habit of rewarding objects that stand at such crossroads. The wheat penny design speaks quietly but powerfully. The wheat stalks are symbols of survival, nourishment, and renewal, themes that were painfully real in 1945. After years of sacrifice, rationing, and loss, the idea of growth mattered deeply. Coins minted during this time absorbed that emotional gravity. They were held by hands that had seen hardship and believed in recovery. When collectors look at a 1945 wheat penny today, they are not just seeing a date. They are feeling a moment when the future was uncertain yet fiercely protected. Millions of these pennies were created, But history does not value crowds, it values survivors. Most 1945 wheat pennies were worn thin by daily life, scraped by years of use, their stories slowly erased by friction. Yet a rare few escaped that fate. Some were saved deliberately, others forgotten by chance. Time passed, decades layered silently, and these coins remained untouched. When a 1945 wheat penny surfaces today with sharp detail and untouched surfaces, it feels almost impossible, as if time briefly chose mercy. That impossibility is where extraordinary value begins. Condition transforms identity in the coin world. Two coins can share the same birth year yet live completely different destinies. A 1945 wheat penny preserved in exceptional condition becomes something almost unreal. It defies expectation. It suggests that while the world aged, this coin remained frozen in its first breath. Collectors recognize this instantly. They are not paying for copper, they are paying for preserved time. And preserved time has no fixed price. There is also the mystery of creation. During periods of intense production, the minting process sometimes slipped for a fraction of a second. That fraction created coins with subtle differences, details so rare they feel accidental, yet deliberate in their survival. A 1945 wheat penny born during such a moment becomes a singular artifact. It cannot be recreated, repeated, or replaced. When such uniqueness meets flawless preservation, the coin stops behaving like money and starts behaving like legend. The idea that a penny could reach unimaginable value feels uncomfortable to logic, but the collector world has never obeyed logic alone. It obeys scarcity, desire, and competition. When collectors realize that only a handful of elite 1945 wheat pennies exist in top condition, emotion enters the room. Offers become aggressive. Ownership becomes symbolic. To own such a coin is to hold a piece of post-war history that the rest of the world can only chase. Many of the most powerful coins were never discovered through intention, but through accident. A drawer opened decades later. A box inherited without explanation. A jar examined out of curiosity. The 1945 wheat penny often lives in these forgotten spaces. People saved coins during hard times because saving felt safe, not knowing they were preserving future rarity. When rediscovered today, such a coin feels like a message sent forward through time, finally received. One of the greatest threats to these coins has always been misunderstanding. People often try to improve old coins, not realizing they are erasing truth. Cleaning removes history. Polishing removes trust. A natural 1945 wheat penny speaks honestly about where it has been. Collectors value honesty above shine. An untouched surface tells a complete story, and complete stories command extraordinary respect and extraordinary value. The promise of overnight fortune exists not because it is common, but because it is rare. Coins have changed lives before, not through fantasy, but through awareness. The 1945 wheat penny sits in a dangerous position for the unprepared and a powerful one for the informed. It is old enough to be historic, emotionally loaded with meaning, and rare enough in exceptional condition to shock even seasoned collectors. As years move forward, the number of remarkable 1945 wheat pennies only decreases. Coins are lost, damaged, melted, or forgotten forever. Supply shrinks quietly while interest grows louder. New collectors enter the field with resources and hunger. When rising demand collides with vanishing supply, value does not increase politely. It erupts. This is how overlooked objects become financial forces. Post-war coins carry emotional weight that cannot be manufactured. They represent survival, relief, and belief in tomorrow. The 1945 wheat penny holds this weight more strongly than many realize. It marks the exact moment when the world chose rebuilding over destruction. That emotional gravity pulls collectors in, and emotion often drives prices further than logic ever could. There is a lesson buried inside the story of the 1945 wheat penny. It teaches patience. Those who rush to sell often regret it. Those who wait often understand too late what they once held. Coins reveal their true worth only when time allows it. History rewards respect, not haste. A penny cannot promise a billionaire's life, but it can open a door. And every great fortune begins with a door that others ignored. The 1945 wheat penny stands quietly behind such a door, underestimated by many, understood by few. Its power is not in certainty, but in potential, and potential has changed lives before. In the end, the true power of the 1945 wheat penny is not just its possible price, but its reminder. History hides value in silence. Sometimes the smallest object carries the heaviest destiny, waiting patiently for the moment someone finally recognizes what it has been holding all along.